Hey, good morning everyone. This is the Average Guy 1983. Today we are on Tuesday, October 29th, 2019, and it is about 9 a.m. in the morning. It's about 52 degrees outside in Los Angeles, California. We got a nice sky today. All these little kids are going back into their classroom, which would allow me to make the video without that much noise other than the traffic that you see there. So anyways, today we're going to be doing the last door that needs to be done, which is the rear. Now the only reason why I'm doing one door at the front and one door in the back and recording that is because it's the same exact method that you'll have to use for the opposite side, on the driver's side and behind the driver's side. It's the same exact thing. There is no changes. Everything looks identical. Even the hole cutouts that are on the inside of the door panel, they're not any different. So the front has a different shape of those hole cutouts, and the rear door has a different shape of the hole cutouts, but they're identical to each other on the back on the opposite side. So with that said, I hope you found the last video that I made of the sound deadener useful and being able to take the door panel off without breaking anything. Today I am going to be using one different tool that I didn't do on the last one. I went and I got this picking tool that you see there to try to be able to get that that little cover around the door latch that opens the door, to see if this will work better than the pry tools that I'm normally used to using. However, I still recommend you getting these pry tools. They're about 22 bucks off of eBay. You might even find them cheaper on Amazon. And what you need is 8 sheets of Knukonceptz Colossal Edition sound deadener. You can use any sound deadener of your choice. There's Murder Mat, there's that Alpha Damp brand, there's Sound Skins, there's SQL Audio, sound deadener material, there's Stinger, there's Dynamat, and a bunch of other stuff. But just don't use peel and seal, which is meant for, you know, ceilings and stuff, because it's just going to peel off and it's not meant for car audio. But this stuff is, and the butyl is very sticky and it's guaranteed to last you for many years to come. I did some sound deadener on this Park Avenue here about 3 years ago, and though it's really dirty, you can kind of see inside that I still have some sheets in there from 3 years ago that I still haven't used. And here's an example of what the roof sounds like, and this is 3 years later. See that? And that's just in my Park Avenue, and it's been sitting here in this spot collecting dust for 3 years. After I installed the deadener. Here's the doors without any treatment, so you can kind of see the stuff inside of the door, or inside of the car. You can kind of see right there that I already have treatment inside of the floor as well, and I did about 2 layers of that. So it's been lasting. It hasn't came apart with some of the hot days of like 113, 117 degrees. So this stuff is really good, and I highly recommend you use real car audio sound deadener material over that peel and seal stuff. So with that said, let's go ahead and set everything up, and then I'll show you guys now what screws you have to remove. So again, like the other door, okay, you got to remove this cover here because there's a screw in here. So that's screw number 1. On the bottom of the door here, you'll see screw number 2 right there. And then as you go even further into the door, which is underneath the speaker grill, there's number 3. On the side right next to the speaker grill here is number 4, and by the cup holder on the rear door is number 5. Then you have your 2 10mm bolts, one underneath here, which we're going to be using that little poking tooth stick thing to remove this panel out. Hopefully that'll work better. And then of course my pry tool with removing this cover here, which as you guys seen in the last video, it's the same. You got a tooth here, and 2 hooks in the bottom, one here and one on this side. So you could open it up from the middle here and then just pry it out. It will come out, so you might want to cover one side with your hand to try to avoid this from popping off and like landing on the floor and breaking. And yeah, so let's go ahead, and once again you'll need a rag to be able to clean the door with some rubbing alcohol, and we'll get that prepped up right now. Alrighty, so here we go. Make sure that you bring out your rubbing alcohol, preferably in a bottle that can spray out a nice even mist. Just adjust the nozzle so it can spray out like that. And then you can get them at AutoZone for like $2 or $3 for the bottle. And it's a really good adjustable heavy duty nozzle. You're not going to see it leaking from the bottom or leaking from here and getting into your hands. However, just so you know though, anything that requires work in a car can cause you to get scratches on your hands, such as stuff like this, or even bruising like what I have here on my arm. So with that information out of the way, let me go ahead and get my piece here, and we're gonna start on this door. And again, you need 8 sheets of sound deadener for that rear door, on each rear door, and again 10 sheets for the front per door. You want to cut 6 sheets in half, and then 2 sheets in 3 pieces each, so like in a square shape instead of a rectangle. So let's go ahead and set up this tripod with the door here, and we'll get things rolling. So I'll be right back. So like the last video that was more detailed, we're gonna go ahead and start by removing the little red plastic cover. I would highly recommend that you put it somewhere safe. I'm gonna use the cup holder that's in the center row because I have a 7-passenger, and I'm gonna put it there so that I don't have to worry about, you know, losing this thing or any of the screws per se. But yeah, now that we got that there, we can go ahead and get started on this. And I'm using a long sleeve shirt only because I'm tired of getting mosquito bites. The mosquitoes have been getting me like crazy, and I'm pretty fed up with it. So I want them to stop biting me, so I figured I wear a long sleeve shirt. And though it may look like I'm sponsored because I'm wearing a Knukonceptz shirt, I'm not. I just actually bought this shirt for like 15 bucks off Knukonceptz, and it's really soft, and I actually like the way the shirt feels. Feels very comfortable. So okay, let's continue on with the rest of the screws removal like I told you guys last time, and we'll get this going. Try to get this done as soon as possible. Now the reason why I chose to do the rear door today is because this weekend I'm going over my in-laws house, and I'm going to be celebrating my birthday up there. And my birthday's November 3rd, which is on a Sunday. And my mom-in-law's birthday is actually November 6th, which is a couple days after mine. So we're going to be celebrating it together. And I didn't want to waste my birthday weekend on working on the car, you know. Although for me, working on my car is really fun and it's relaxing for me. But yeah, I figured we would just go ahead and take care of that. So let me step in here real quick so I can take care of the rest of this. So I know the majority of the time in my videos you guys see me in shorts, in either a tank top or my JL shirt or my favorite t-shirt, which is my Deadener engineering shirt. The reason why I wear that shirt a lot is because I like the logo in the back, and I also like the feel of the shirt. It feels very comfortable. So let's go ahead and take that off. Well, actually, let's put this screwdriver in here. We're done with the 5 screws. Now we're doing number 6 and number 7. Hoping this tool works versus the other one. Yeah, actually it worked better. So if you can get yourself a picking tool like this one here to get this off, it probably would work better than what I did on the last video. So that's a new technique there, I guess you can say that. So let's go ahead and finish taking off the other stuff. Okay, video's looking good so far. Let me turn that up. Now if I had a cameraman, you know, one of my siblings or that can help me out with this project by just holding the camera, that's what they gotta do, it would be freaking awesome. Unfortunately, I don't really talk to any of my siblings. Well, the video cut off really quick, but I got to get this plastic cover removed here. So we're gonna get back to that. But anyways, talking about my siblings, though I miss them very much, I don't talk to any of them because we're not genuinely close. The real issue here with one of my siblings that lives literally like 25 minutes away from me is his wife or his girlfriend. She straight out told me that she didn't consider me or my wife or my kids family because we weren't there around for my brother. And what she doesn't understand is that she's never lived in foster care. If you were a previous foster child, then you know for a fact how things are in the system. And you don't always get to see your siblings. You get scattered. And it's very rare when a family will accept your entire siblings, you and your siblings, at the same time in the same home. And it's unfortunately that things worked out that way. But it is what it is, man, you know? So I don't talk to any of my siblings at all. I chose to just keep to myself now and just, focus on my own life with my own family and do things my way, So here's the other bolt. Oops, I dropped it. But here's the other one. And now we're going to go ahead and start removing it. This is where you want to use that pry tool to be able to get the panel off. So let me go ahead and get the pry tool real quick. So now on this one for sure, it's going to be the unlike the front door, this one here is going to have those push-in locks either somewhere around here and here from the last time, if I remember correctly. So let's just go ahead and start from here, work our way down. Yeah, see, I was right. Right here in this spot there's one. So what you want to do is you want to stick in the tool and turn it sideways to open it up. And it's making me look like a liar because the tool doesn't want to open. Or we can also try from the bottom, see if that'll work. Yeah, see, the tool's right here. Wow, this door's much harder to open than the other one. Okay, this tool doesn't want to work. Let me try a thicker one. Okay, since this door is being stubborn, let's try this one. There we go. And there is a possibility that you might break the clip. If you do, you can go to a place like AutoZone and buy the replacement clip to put it back on. Because chances are it's going to happen. So let's go ahead and remove this door here. Remove this lock. There's some push pins here you got to get to. Plus the wire harness for the window. Get that out of the way. And then we can go ahead and push this in sideways. Get it out. That same rag that we're going to use to clean up this door from the inside, that'll be the same rag you're going to use to cover up that lock so that it won't be banging everywhere and getting scratched. And again, I highly recommend that you put this door panel in the trunk so that it can be safe and away from possible scratches. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and work on removing that butyl layer thing. And like I had mentioned before, I want to try to put some kind of ABS plastic in the same shape of that butyl contour all the way around to try to cover it up properly. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My phone overheated, and I ended up putting it in the freezer to cool it down for like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna have to record from right here, and I'm going to have to do my best to at least maybe bring up zooming in option like that, and then go ahead and remove that butyl cover. But like I said earlier, I want to try making a mold out of PVC, because PVC is much easier to work with. Once you heat it up with the heat gun, you can actually shape it really easily depending how hot the PVC is, and you can shape it to its contours by pressing it against the panel. And once you do that, you can go ahead and start making your cutouts for the rivets that you're going to be putting in, so that the panel can be easily removed and put back. You can put for example, some sound deadening on that PVC board on both sides, the inside and the outside, to try to make the door more solid. And yeah, so let's go ahead and remove that cover, and then we'll remove the speaker grill or the speaker, and then that little plastic cover or rubber cover right there, that grommet. So let's get started with that. Alrighty, so like I did in the last video, you just want to carefully remove the butyl and preserve it as much as possible. Some of it is going to get stuck to the panel there, which if once this butyl stuff comes off and I put those PVC panels on, that's if I'm able to accomplish that, by the way, because I don't have any special tools to cut that. So I would have to use like a jigsaw to be able to cut it into shape, sand it down by hand, and then you know, mold it into its contours and stuff. But anyways, all we're doing in this is just putting the sound deadener material on the inside of the outer skin, just to, you know, lower some of that noise from the streets or street sounds. And I noticed the first thing I noticed was a slight improvement on the speakers. It sounds less muddy now, and it actually has a more mid-bass sound. So basically, what you can hear, let me go ahead and bring my phone here and show you guys. So the rear door speakers use these 1/4 inch SAE socket screws. One here, one there in the bottom, and one right there. Once we get that off, we can go ahead and remove this. Well, I can actually do this right now and get this out of the way, because this is just like a rubber gasket that comes off really easily, just like that. You can just set it down right over there where those tools are at, and we can go ahead and get back to this. So let me go ahead and remove these screws, and then we can start cleaning the inside and start installing the sound deadener material. So let me go ahead and put the video on pause, put this right back here next to this tree, because this is the only area where I actually have some shade to be able to put this on. So if it doesn't look properly yet, my sincere apologies. This is also as bright as I can make the screen. I can't make it any brighter than this. So let me go ahead and stop the video here, get all of that crap off, and then we'll get to the sound deadening. Alrighty guys, so I got this off already, and here's something interesting. So that plastic panel that's there, you can actually remove that if you want to get just slightly more space out of the speaker grill that you see there. There's some additional 4 bolts that you can get out, and I believe it's going to be a metric and not an SAE, but since I'm not going to take them off, I'm not going to worry about, you know, giving you guys the measurements to those bolts. But here's something interesting. This speaker is shaped slightly different from the inside. It's a different material versus the one that's in the front. And then the back is actually made out of an aluminum casing, like a standard speaker. And again, like I said before, 25 watts RMS for the rear door. And this is a standard 4-range speaker. So there's no tweeter or anything like that extra like you get on the Sony one. But this is a slightly better quality than what's on the front door, which I find very interesting. So anyways, now that that's out of the way, let me go ahead and bring this a little bit forward. I'm hoping my phone doesn't overheat on me, but let's see if I can get this to shine up a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up the inside like I did before on the other video, and with some alcohol, any rag. You want a rag that doesn't have any lint, so that it won't get on the panel, and then you don't have to worry about getting that lint on the Knukonceptz Butyl and having issues with it sticking. You also want to give the alcohol some time to dry up after you wipe it down, and maybe about a good 5 minutes or so. And you can grab yourself a soda or something to drink, or if you like beer, you can grab a beer. I like soda and water and Gatorade, so I'll probably drink that. And yeah, so let me go ahead and put this speaker down, and we'll go ahead and continue on this video. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and use the rag, a clean rag, and the alcohol in a spray bottle, and we're gonna start spraying at the top as much as you can get inside. Okay, you're not going to be able to get it all inside 100%, but just try your best to get it in there and spray away just a little bit, not too much, because again, you want this stuff to dry up after it's been put in, and then, you know, start cleaning it with the rag. So let's go up here real quick and clean this. Now you will notice a significant difference having the sound deadening material installed on the outer skin, but you'll hear even more of a difference once you actually have sound deadening material on the inside of the skin as well. But I don't want to be like the other guys and install the sound deadening material on the outer skin here, I mean on the inside part, without having access to these panels to service your window regulator should it ever mess up on you. Because like I said in the last video, if you ever need it serviced and you have this Butyl stuff installed, you're gonna have to remove it. And Butyl's not cheap, it costs money. Even depending if you go with the cheapest manufacturer, it costs money. In the long run, you're gonna waste more money having to buy more Butyl to reinstall it after you get your windows serviced. And this is unfortunate too, because now we already know about the official announcement from Ford about them cutting production of the Flex. So we don't know what's going to happen to the rest of us when it comes to getting the vehicle serviced or getting any kind of parts for it. So my suggestion to you, since this is going to be basically my second discontinued car, would be to order yourself some door panels if you ever plan on messing with them. Order yourself some A pillars, B pillars, C pillars, D pillars, and anything interior wise. If your car is already old and you have a lot of mileage on your car and you still want to keep the car and you feel it worth it to replace the engine and transmission, try to get that taken care of too before they stop making the engine and the transmission entirely, because that's the problem I'm having with this car. This car here, Buick or Chevy, is no longer making the engine for this car. So I have to either try to fix it as best as I can, or do an engine swap, probably an LS front wheel drive, and get that installed just to get the car running. My wife doesn't think it's worth it for me to invest in this car, but I already invested like $3K in it. So from experience, I would highly suggest you get those things done before this car is completely gone. All right, everyone, we're back. It's been about 5 minutes since I cleaned off the floor, I mean not the floor, the doors with the sound deadening material. And I went ahead and I got myself a Gatorade here to enjoy right now while I was waiting, and giving the phone a chance to cool itself down, because whenever I record in 4K, I have a time frame of 5 minutes per video clip at 4K, or 10 minutes per video clip at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So I record in 4K because I like the clarity of the video and I like the HDR feature that this thing has to offer. But again, for a $1,400 phone, this Note 9 shouldn't be overheating the way it does. But let me show you guys the inside. Here's what the door looks like from the inside. This is the top part, section 1, that I mentioned to you guys before. See how you see that handle there? me go ahead and clear that out. But there you go. I'm trying to get the phone in here so you guys can see how far it goes up. That's all the way to the top. You can't go any higher than where that rubber foam is at. That's as high as you can go, because the rest is actually going towards the window edge, which is right around this edge here. So this is the second section here, and this is a much larger door skin without these little bars going across it. So you can actually put almost a full-size sheet in here from at least this corner, from this area here down that way. But it gets more narrow as you go inwards. So again, the goal is to start to stack these sheets on top of each other. Here's another view of the inside, and you want to go all the way down to the bottom to where that area is at, in that crevice, or that part that just dims, that slides inwards or whatever, and or curves inwards, and that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the sound deadener on here, and then we're gonna get back to this video and show you guys the end results, because it's starting to get a little hot now, and my phone keeps having overheating problems. So I'm gonna stop the video here, install the full sound deadener in there, let you know how many sheets of layers I put in. But like the other video for the front door, it's the same deal for the back, but you're only going to use 8 sheets. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, everyone, we're back. Finally got to get all the deadener installed. Now the reason why I didn't record this is because it was going to be the same exact thing as the front door, that I give you guys as much detail as possible. I actually ended up putting a strip in the bottom there, about 2 inches by 6 inches, and then another 2 inch by 6 inch strip at the top on the door handle area to kind of reduce some of that noise. And then I did exactly the 8 sheets all the way around. Once I put everything together, I started knocking on the door and making sure that the areas that I wanted to sound more solid sounded solid, and that was about it. So there's everything there, so you can see all the way curved into the inside. And let me go ahead and close this door, and there you go. This is what it sounds like now. That's 4 layers at the top, 4 layers in the middle row, and about, you could say, 5 layers or so, the rest of the sheets in the bottom area where it really counts. So I couldn't get this little area here with too much thickness because there was a bar going across this way, but you can still hear it pretty solid, but it sounds more solid in the middle. But again, that's it there. And this one was a lot shorter. This one only took me about 35 minutes to completely do, after I started working on installing everything. But yeah, now it's just putting that plastic cover that's in here back. Gotta put that back, and then put back the little rubber gasket that goes here, the speaker back, connect everything, seal off the door panel with the little screws, and that's it. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. This is part 2, and again, you can use this as a guide for your own personal installation of sound deadening material in your vehicle. The next part we're going to try to do is going to be the floors and these side panels here. Now I'm thinking, in order for me to get access to this, I'm probably going to have to remove the tire and move the plastic or the screws that are over here on this side. You can't really see them, but I'm gonna have to remove all these screws here all the way to the top and get that off in order to get access to this outer skin, and then do the inner skin of the door, I mean of the panel in the back, because that's where the sub is gonna go. And we'll see from there how things go. I'm gonna do more research on removing the seats, because I made the mistake of breaking one of the covers in the front for the door here. I broke this one, the cover for here, because it actually has some little bracket on the back that has some teeth that look like snake teeth sticking outwards like this, preventing you from being able to pull out the panel. So you need like some 4-inch needle nose pliers, not a 2-inch, a 4-inch, to be able to get access to that, and then remove the seats with the proper bolt size socket. But yeah, this is it for the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching it, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button and the notification button so you can get notified of whenever I do the next video. So up until next time, I'll be doing some research on the rest of these panel removals, and I'll get to you guys shortly. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. Alright, let's do a quick test and see how loud it sounds in the car with all 4 doors deadened and everything being put away in regards to the door panels. Okay, sorry about the lighting, but here we go. You guys hear all this background? Let's close the door and see what happens. Well, there you go. Can still hear some noise here and there, but nothing how it was before. So if I was to turn on the car, that chime sound you hear, by the way, is a speaker that's integrated right inside of here, inside of the dashboard in this top part. So that beeping sound that you also hear for the active park assist, which is that that sensor that beeps loudly when there's a car passing this way or passing this way behind you when you put your car on reverse. That beeping sound is also from that same speaker that's integrated here. So those chime sounds do not come from the tweeter, the center channel, or the door speakers underneath. I finally figured that out. I had to like take this off and find out where the speaker was. It's like a little 2-inch speaker that's underneath, and I found that out. And then when it comes to your backup camera, which again, that sound you hear with that rear park assist or park aid, that sound for that comes from up here along with that 3-tone chime. Your backup camera, when you have that beeping sound as you're backing into stuff, for example, I can move back and you can hear it. Hear that sound? That sound's coming from the back. It is not coming from the door speakers, from anywhere within the door speakers. So now we know that if I was to use something like an audio control DM608 or a DM810 DSP, or if I was to use the Fix 86 from JL Audio and I have the volume set to its max non-distorted volume, I know for a fact that it's not going to affect anything on the door chimes or anything like that. But yeah, getting back to the subject, that's all you can hear. Now, road noise now, you can definitely hear the road noise coming from underneath there on that side, and also coming out from that side and the back area by the trunk. It sounds much louder. Also, when we open and close the door, this area here makes a lot of noise. You hear that? So the door sounds solid, which is great, but now you can really hear the other areas that need sound proofing treatment. So one of them is the ceiling area here, and then obviously the floors, which I have no idea how much I'm going to need. But yeah, that's it for the sound deadening part. Now I ended up finding an accessory point for 12 or 14 volt voltage that can work for your amplifiers. I know I had made a video about a remote wire that you can use from behind the radio, and you can continue to use that if you want to, but I think I'd rather go with the route of the accessory line turning on. Basically, the accessory does this. When you turn on the lights, you see that, and that is accessory. This is ignition. So when you want to listen to the radio, which is simply accessory, you'll have that option with the wire that I just found. So on the next video, I'm going to show you what fuse you have to tap into to get that accessory power for your amplifiers instead of using that remote wire that has a 35-second delay behind the radio. This is a much better option. But anyways, other than that, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you later.